This is possibly the nicest bureau desk I've ever seen, and it could not have come at a better time. The last two videos I did were both so difficult and time consuming that they kinda stopped being fun, and so because this desk is also in really good condition for its age, it gives me the chance to really focus on the refinish and show you what a clean and original Danish oil finish looks like. The design is by Arne Vodder, circa late 1950s, and what makes it really special is that the sliding desk also folds up to reveal a mirror with storage compartments for jewellery and personal effects, and so really it's something between a vanity and a secretary or bureau desk, and it's definitely one of the rarest pieces that Vodder ever designed. The badge on the mirror here says AG Aarhus, although I think that's just for the mirror because this design is commonly attributed to Seebust Möbler, and it would fit with Vodder's other designs for Seebust, which typically share the same signature design features, most notably the recessed elliptical draw pulls and light, precise proportioning. There is some minor damage on the drawer fronts, which I may repair or may just leave, and the desk areas have also got some scratches which may not come out. There's an ink stain in one of the mail compartments, which may be difficult to remove because ink is notoriously difficult to erase, but the rest of the surfaces are in such good condition that I'm really not too worried about any of this. I'm not exactly sure what this thing was finished with, but it looked more like lacquer than Danish oil in some places, and in any case, I generally prefer paint stripper to straight out sanding or scraping. My strategy with pieces like this is that I generally aim to do as little sanding as possible on the veneered sections, and so I'll try to use products like stripping gel, solvents and water to clean the wood as much as possible before I start sanding them. The only drawback for me with these secretary desks is all the little compartments like this, but if you're going to strip the old finish off completely, you can't really leave anything out, and so there's really no alternative but to treat it like any other cleaning job and just accept that it's going to get messy. Once I've left the stripper to soak in for about 30 minutes or so, I can start the process of removing the old finish. And it's at this stage of the process where you can really see just how much dirt and grime had been sitting in the pores of the wood grain. If I'd just gone straight to sanding without the paint stripper, I would risk a lot of that dirt and grime being smushed back into the wood grain, which could result in a blotchy or patchy finish. I'll then finish up by scrubbing everything down with a blend of white spirits and methylated spirits to neutralize the stripping gel and melt the residual grease before wiping it all down again with some industrial wet wipes. Now that I've cleaned the wood off as much as possible, I'm gonna let it all dry off for a day or so before I continue. Coming back into the workshop, we can see here just how pronounced the tan line on the sliding desktop is, and so I'm going to need to use some oxalic acid to see if I can bleach the darker section to match the lighter section here. I'll need to do a light scuff sand first, just to remove that top layer, so that the oxalic acid has a better chance of penetrating deeper into the wood grain. I actually don't measure the formulation exactly, but I generally aim for a stronger mix, so roughly a cup of powder mixed into about half a litre of water, give or take, which is about as strong as I've ever needed it. A lot of people say it's important to bleach an entire area to avoid creating more problems with mismatching sections, and if it was to remove a stain, this is the way I would do it, but when it comes to tan lines, this completely defeats the purpose, and I'm just bleaching the section that hasn't already been bleached by the sun to try and make them match again. While the desktop is drying, I can make a start on the sanding. Because this veneer is in such good overall condition, I'm able to take it easy and just do a single round of sanding using P180. Drawers can often be a bit of a danger zone when it comes to sanding through the veneer, and so I'm not going to risk it by using the machine here, and even then I'm still going to be extra careful around the edges. For the larger areas like the sides, top and desk areas, I'm happy to use the machine just to speed up the workflow a little bit. There are no major scratches or flaws to worry about, and so it's really just a case of cleaning that top layer off and retaining as much texture as possible. But although I've got the tan lines on the desktop balanced out, these perpendicular scratches don't look like they're going anywhere. I could try lifting them out with an iron, but I honestly think they're too old and with too many years of dirt and oil pressed into them. I've done enough of these projects to know that when you've got scratches like this which run at 90 degrees to the wood grain, you're more likely to sand through the veneer before you sand them out, and so all I can really do is minimize them as much as possible and move on. So I'm kind of torn on what to do for the finish on this piece. This is a high value item from an esteemed designer, and so part of me wants to keep it as clean as possible and just oil it without any stain at all, whereas another part of me wants to try and darken it very slightly and just push it more towards that traditional Nordic red look. What I'm going to do though is basically do an experiment which should give me the best of both worlds. I've taken a mix of oils, pigments and solvents and created a custom tinted oil which should replicate the natural color of the teak very closely while adding just a little bit of color to it. Once this first coat of oil is dry, I can finally move on to the part that I've been looking forward to the most. This is Feast Watson Scandinavian oil, and it's the best Danish oil I've ever used. The only problem is that you can't buy it outside of New Zealand and Australia, and all I have left is this half-empty little sample bottle here, but I'll still need to put 3 generous coats down to get the proper result. What I've done is just added a little bit of linseed oil and a little bit of mineral turpentine to the mix to make it stretch a bit further. What makes this oil special is that it has a really unique red-orange color, which makes it perfect for use on teak, while also offering a hard and waterproof seal, and so you get a bright and natural look, which is also very durable. With each coat that I apply, I'll first saturate the surface, leave it to soak in for about 20 to 30 minutes, and then wipe off the excess. Once all the excess oil's been removed, I'll leave it to dry off overnight and then repeat the process the next day. Although before I apply the final coat, I'm also going to try and blend out those epoxy repairs a little bit. They don't have to be perfect, they just need to not stand out. With the third and final coat of oil now dry, I'm just going to give the finished surfaces a quick rub down with a Scotch Brite pad. There's no need for me to use sandpaper here, but before I give it a coat of beeswax polish, it pays to smooth the surface down and get rid of any particles or bits of dust that might have gotten stuck in the finish. As always, I'm using Howard's Feed-In Wax Orange Oil and Beeswax Polish applied with fine steel wool. Normally my rule of thumb is to be as sparing as possible, but in some situations you just have to observe how quickly the polish is being absorbed and adjust it as needed, because this teak veneer is definitely soaking it up pretty quickly. And after letting it soak in for about 15 to 20 minutes, I'll buff out the excess with a polishing cloth. All that's left to do now is what I call the finishing touches, which is to basically just do a quick cleanup of all the drawers and just get all those little details looking nice and fresh for the photography. These smaller drawers from the top of the desk are solid teak all around, and so they're as much a design feature as anything else and needed to be treated accordingly. And last but not least, I'll give the legs a quick freshen up with some 240 grit sandpaper and another batch of oil that I made up. The timber here is already very dense and oily, and so it really doesn't need much more than that, otherwise the legs are just going to end up looking too shiny. All in all, this has been a really fun project, and even though there are still some minor imperfections in this piece, I actually kind of like it this way, because with everything else looking so clean, it's kind of nice to have some flaws and some character to remind you that this piece actually has a history and wasn't just made yesterday. It's been a pleasure to work on, and I really can't overstate how satisfying it is to just take in all of these lines and curves and know that I've honored this design to the best of my ability. So I hope you enjoy the reveal, and feel free to let me know what you think in the comments. If you've made it this far and you want to see more, please do like and subscribe. For now though, thanks for watching.